Welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at 20 perfect turn-based RPGs that are pure 10 out of 10 masterpieces. These are the games that will steal hundreds of hours of your life and make you thank them for it. Grab your favorite snacks and get comfortable, because we have a lot of ground to cover. Here is the list.
Gotcha! How about this?
Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance is what happens when Atlas decides you have not suffered enough. You play as the Nahobino, a fabulous entity with hair so glorious it distracts you from the fact that a random slime just wiped your entire party in one turn. The turn-based combat is incredibly punishing but deeply rewarding. You will spend hours trying to negotiate with demons only for them to take your money and run away. The massive open world is filled with hidden secrets and terrifying bosses that will test your patience. It is absolute peak gameplay. Chrono Trigger is the granddaddy of all role-playing games. Even after all these years, it still holds up perfectly. You travel through time with a spiky hair silent protagonist, a genius inventor, and an oversized frog who speaks with weird medieval grammar. The combat system was revolutionary for its time, letting you combine attacks for massive damage. You will find yourself constantly worrying about accidentally changing the future by stepping on a bug. It is a flawless masterpiece that reminds us of the golden age of gaming, long before microtransactions ruined everything. Octopath Traveler 2 takes everything good about the first game and makes it infinitely better. The HD 2D art style is so gorgeous, it will make your eyes melt in a good way. You follow 8 different protagonists, and this time they actually acknowledge each other. The break and boost combat system is incredibly satisfying, especially when you figure out how to completely break the boss before they can move. I spent most of my playthrough just having thrown robbed innocent townspeople blind. It is a stunning, beautifully scored adventure that fixes every flaw of its predecessor. Dragon Quest XI's is comfort food in video game form. It is the most traditional role-playing game you will ever play, and that is exactly why it works. You play as the Luminary, who is basically the chosen one, but gets treated like a criminal by everyone in charge. The supporting cast is fantastic, especially Sylvando, who brings enough flamboyant energy to power a small city. You will grind metal slimes, break countless pots, and experience the legendary Puff Puff. It is a massive, charming adventure that never loses its magic. Final Fantasy X is a beautiful, tragic story wrapped in a tropical paradise. You play as Tidus, a sports star who gets sucked into a giant flying whale and ends up in a world where technology is a sin. The combat system is a pure tactical joy, letting you swap party members on the fly to exploit enemy weaknesses. You will definitely get stuck on the Seymour fights, and you will probably spend way too much time playing Blitzball. The vibrant world of Spira looks absolutely fantastic, ensuring that the infamous forced laughing scene is crystal clear. Before we continue the video, I want to inform you that right now, there are tons of crazy deals in instant gaming, especially if you love RPG games. Remember how expensive modern gaming lately? Well, not anymore, since you can get so many amazing titles with crazy discounts in instant gaming. Can you believe that just with $10 or even less than $5, you can enjoy one of the best gaming experiences in your life? Just look at these titles. It used to cost like $30 or even more than $40. And to make things even crazier, some games even drop so far to just $1. If you're a smart guy, you know what you have to do. All you have to do is just click my link in the description below, start searching for your favorite games, and use the activation code on your chosen platform. By using my link, you're not only saving tons of money, but also helping me to support this channel. Alright then, let's get back into the list. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is an absolute stunner of a game. You lead a doomed expedition to stop the Paintress, a terrifying entity who paints a number every year and kills everyone of that age. The setting is a gorgeous dark fantasy take on the Belle Epoque era. The combat is turn-based but highly reactive, meaning you have to actually pay attention to parry enemy attacks instead of just mashing the attack button. The world is dripping with atmosphere and mystery. It is a stunning emotional journey that proves turn-based combat can feel incredibly fast-paced.
Danger!
Troubleshooter Abandoned Children is basically what happens when you mix XCOM with a massive anime storyline. You run a freelance police agency in a city where crime is apparently the only career choice. The amount of customization in this game is genuinely terrifying. There are hundreds of masteries to collect and you will spend hours just staring at the character screens trying to build the perfect squad. The tactical combat is deep, punishing, and incredibly addictive. It is a massive time sink, but once the combat mechanics click, you will never want to put it down.
목표 제거하였습니다.
Xenogears is the most ambitious story ever told on the original PlayStation. It starts with a simple village boy and quickly escalates into giant mech battles, ancient conspiracies, and literally fighting God. The martial arts combat system is super fun, letting you string together light, medium, and heavy attacks to unleash flashy death blows. Everyone jokes about how the second disc turns into a giant reading session because they ran out of budget, but the story is so good you will not even care. It is a profound philosophical masterpiece that desperately needs to be played by everyone.
Press disadvantage. Give them no quarter.
Darkest Dungeon is a game that actively hates you, and you will love every second of it. You inherit a ruined estate and hire miserable mercenaries to clean up the horrible eldritch mess your ancestor left behind. The true enemy here is not the monsters, but the stress. Your characters will go completely insane, refuse to heal, and start attacking each other. The narrator constantly mocks your failures with his booming, incredible voice. It is a brutal, unforgiving masterpiece of strategy, and you will learn the hard way that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster brings back two of the greatest political fantasy games ever made. You have to recruit 108 characters to build your army, which sounds exhausting until you realize half of them just open shops in your castle. The second game features Luca Blight, who is easily one of the most terrifying villains in gaming history. The updated pixel art and gorgeous new character portraits make everything look incredibly crisp. It is the perfect way to experience these legendary stories of war, friendship, and intense cooking minigames. Wasteland 3 drops you into the freezing irradiated ruins of Colorado, and it is glorious. You play as the Desert Rangers, trying to establish order in a place full of killer clowns, cyborgs, and teenagers who worship a giant Ronald Reagan statue. The tactical combat is crunchy and satisfying, especially when you run over a group of raiders with your fully upgraded Kodiak tank. The humor is incredibly dark, and the choices you make will force you to do some morally questionable things. It is a fantastic, gritty role-playing game that never pulls its punches. Battle Brothers is a brutal medieval mercenary simulator where your favorite characters will die horrible, preventable deaths. You manage a company of rough, ugly men who fight for coin in a low fantasy world. The tactical combat is completely unforgiving, and the random number generator will absolutely betray you when you need it most. You will watch your best fighter get taken out by a lucky goblin arrow, and you just have to live with it. The developers recently dropped a massive new update adding executioner swords and new enemies, making this ruthless game even better. Pathfinder: Wrath of the Righteous is a game for people who love reading spreadsheets and becoming literal demigods. You lead a crusade against a demonic invasion, and the power trip is absolutely insane. You can become an angel, a lich, or even a swarm of angry bugs. The combat requires you to spend 20 minutes casting buff spells before every major fight, but deleting a demon lord in one turn makes it all worth it. The writing is incredibly sharp, and the sheer amount of meaningful choices makes this the ultimate digital tabletop experience.
I'll just sit here. Don't worry about me.
On the move.
XCOM 2 is the premier simulator for missing a point-blank shotgun blast with a 99% chance to hit. The aliens have already won, and you are running a guerrilla resistance from a stolen spaceship. The tension in every single mission is suffocating, especially when the Chosen show up just to ruin your day. You will spend hours customizing your soldiers, giving them cool backstories, only to watch them panic and shoot their own teammate. It is a master class in tactical combat that will test your patience, your strategy, and your blood pressure. Persona 5 Royal is the most stylish game you will ever play. You live a double life as a normal high school student by day and a magical phantom thief by night. The turn-based combat is incredibly fluid, and pulling off an all-out attack never gets old. You will spend just as much time fighting horrific monsters as you will studying for exams and doing laundry. The jazz soundtrack is so good it will get stuck in your head for years. It is a massive, visually stunning masterpiece that oozes charm from every single menu.
行くよ。これでもそれ。決まったよ。How about this?
The Legend of Heroes Trails series is the most insane world-building project in gaming history. If you decide to start this journey, say goodbye to your social life for the next few years. The overarching political plot connects across over a dozen massive games, and every single non-player character has their own evolving storyline. The combat system relies heavily on manipulating turn orders and positioning, which gets deeper with every new entry. It is a massive commitment, but the payoff of seeing characters from 10 years ago show up to save the day is unmatched.
Flamebinder!
Lame.
Final Fantasy Tactics is a timeless masterpiece of political betrayal and incredible class building. You play as Ramza, a noble outcast caught in a brutal war where everyone is lying to everyone else. The job system is perfection, letting you mix and match abilities until you create an absolutely broken ninja who knows calculator math magic. The new Ivalice Chronicles Remaster looks beautiful, and the recent update adding a new Game Plus mode is exactly what fans wanted. Just remember to keep multiple save files, or you might softlock yourself at the infamous Wigraf boss fight.
I'll do it.
Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader lets you live out your ultimate grim dark fantasy. You are essentially a space billionaire with a warrant to do whatever you want in the name of the Emperor. The combat is incredibly deep, letting you set up massive chain reactions that wipe out entire rooms of heretics. The best part is having your loyal servant Abelard announce your presence to every single peasant you meet. The developers recently made all the downloadable content free for Nintendo Switch 2 owners to apologize for a rocky launch, which is a glorious peace offering.
Tell me and it is done.
Fire Emblem Three Houses is part tactical war simulator and part high school teacher simulator. You are hired as a professor at a prestigious academy where you must choose one of 3 houses to lead. You will quickly become obsessed with drinking tea, finding lost items, and aggressively recruiting students from other houses so you do not have to kill them later. The grid-based combat is excellent, and the story goes to some incredibly dark places depending on your choices. It is a deeply emotional, strategic masterpiece that demands to be replayed multiple times.
I'll show you a plan.
Baldur's Gate 3 is the ultimate digital tabletop experience and an absolute triumph of the genre. You wake up with a mind flayer tadpole in your brain and immediately start gathering a camp full of beautiful, deeply traumatized weirdos. The turn-based combat is pure creative freedom. If you want to stack explosive barrels and blow up a boss before they can speak, you can totally do that. The voice acting and motion capture bring every single character to life in breathtaking detail. It is a flawless, reactive masterpiece that set a new gold standard for role-playing games.
These are